I love every chance we get the opportunity to sit down. Always great to catch up with you. Lots changed in just the few last months since I saw you. What's new? What's going on right now at Equinix?
A little bit of everything, I guess. The world continues to transform in all kinds of ways, and obviously the globe is continuing to transform, and we've got to watch for both of those.
Yeah, absolutely. So this might be playing into your distributed AI hub that you've just recently announced. Tell us about how that works.
Yeah, when we think about the world at large and the enterprise requirements for AI, we think about distributed actually in two different and distinct ways. The first is enterprises are thinking about all of the distribution of their compute and data across clouds, across like different software platforms, and how to bring all of that back together to then infuse AI into all of those elements. So that's one dimension around distribution. And then the second is the classic just geographic distribution. Inference is becoming the main thing that enterprises are worried about, and that involves closer proximity to the end user, closer proximity to the workload that the AI is actually being applied against.
Do you see the priority of inference being a vertical specific thing here early at the gate? Like, are there places in which that lower latency is most important, or is it everybody needs it right now?
You're definitely seeing it appear in very vertically specific ways. I think the first waves of enterprise AI utilization was kind of like human knowledge worker like augmentation that was kind of general purpose across a lot of different enterprise domains. But now what you're really seeing is the big value creator is deep vertical expertise around, whether that's healthcare modeling and being able to do early identification of healthcare issues, like obviously drug chemistry, pharmaceuticals, like that's one area that, again, very, very deep vertical specificity there. Financial services, whether that's on the risk modeling side or on the other side of the house for them around trading, algorithmic trading, understanding what's happening in the world at large around those platforms. Each of those end up being very, very deeply vertically specific, and then some of those are more latency sensitive than others. You've got some vertical use cases like on the industrial side, you're starting to see enterprise AI and AI inference being used for like real-time mining, right? You've got autonomous mining going on. You couldn't imagine a use case that's probably more latency sensitive than a case where you've got human workers proximate with autonomous machines that are doing industrial labor, similarly on the factory floor. And so that is actually extraordinarily latency sensitive. And then you have other use cases that are more like human interaction, where it's web level of latency can be acceptable. Maybe like a couple of deployments per continent can be sufficient.
You mentioned that Equinix is doing a whole lot of different things right now, and you seem to be everyone's best friend at navigating some of the most complex challenges everyone's facing right now as they scale. What are some of those common challenges you're holding hands of your customers with right now?
Yeah, I think the first one that we look at all the time is just comfort around data security as they're thinking about AI deployments at large. How do they get comfort around the sovereignty of that data, both in terms of the residence of those data sets and how those models might end up being trained or applied, making sure that it's staying within the enterprise domain and a security perimeter, but then also simultaneously, again, with all that's going on in the world, it increased the importance around sovereignty from a geographic perspective. So again, a lot of customers now are making sure European data is staying resident in country, in theater there, and is not being shared into different domains. The second one that we look at a lot is, as we talked about earlier, is this distribution of data that exists. Like the enterprise has been using SaaS, it's been using clouds, it's been using data platforms, so your average enterprise 10 years ago might be using 4 or 5 different cloud providers and 2 or 3 SaaSes. Now they're using 10 to 15 different cloud providers and 5 or 7 or 15 SaaSes for different enterprise use cases. And then their data platform themselves might be using a Databricks or a Snowflake or some other area. And so how you bring all of that together and all of those disparate data sources into a way that AI can actually be applied against that data set is something that we're uniquely positioned to solve for, because we're the interconnection point for all of these partners, right? And that neutrality that Equinix has always operated with is really proving extraordinarily valuable for our customers, where they know that this is a trusted place where everyone will show up and exchange data, and then they can put their AI on top of that data flow.
I think that's important, and as we think about the agility that's necessary to scale safely and privately and with compliance and sovereignty right now, it is the partners like you that are absolutely mission critical. What do you think is going to be the biggest leap or catalyst thing that we see this year?
Well, I mean, it's hard to watch everything that's happening with OpenClaw and not be like, okay, something wild is going to happen there. And certainly the amplification and kind of like self-work that's being generated out of that is really exciting. And also, candidly, it's something that I worry about, because the autonomy that's happening inside of that can lend to downstream consequences that are deeply unintended. And now it's actually like material cost is being generated. Again, I was talking to a friend that's working at a startup, and he's been using code generation for a while, relatively safely. Like token counts were relatively reasonable, and it was expensive, but not like over the top. And now he's like, yeah, no, I had like 5 agents going, and within a month I ended up with a 5-figure bill that I had no idea was going to hit me. And before he could realize he needed to have throttles in place to make sure that didn't happen, it had already happened. So I think that's one of the areas, you're going to see a bit of this balance here of exponential growth with the need for some level of controls.
Yeah, I think so. What I'm hearing from you is we're going to get our bumpers on the bowling lane, but before we do, we're going to throw some pretty interesting gutter balls, and it's going to be very playful. What do you hope that AI, and it doesn't even have to be AI, everything that we're doing right now, what do you hope it improves or optimizes in your personal life within the next same time window, let's say a year?
I think the dream for everybody when you're starting to use AI is it's going to create free time for you to spend doing something that's of higher value for yourself, right? And I would say I find that today, if you're not using AI today, use it. The ability to plan travel. I was doing my daughter's college tours, and I said, here are the 6 schools that I want to go to. Help me optimize the scheduling for that. And it generated it for me in less than 2 minutes. And that would have been something that I typically would have web researched and mapped out and plotted out, and it would have taken me a couple of hours. Right. And so, that kind of thing, to be able to just get free time back so we can just go back to spending more human time with each other, that's the one part that AI can't replace.
No, absolutely. And did you end up following that itinerary?
We got it lined up for June, so.
Oh my gosh! That's so exciting.
So 3 cities, we're doing New York, Providence, and Boston, and 6 schools, so we got it all lined up.
Very exciting time for you and your family, and congrats to your daughter on whatever she chooses. John, thank you so much. It's truly always such a pleasure to get to chat with you.
Absolutely, anytime again.
Yes, it's a blast, and thank all of you for tuning in. Savannah Peterson here with Equinix. Thanks for coming to learn with us.